Onefootflipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. We're doing a driving video here apparently. So today I went to my first sale ever since my channel started. All my previous sale footage has been from before I actually started making videos, or it's been private pics. I haven't been to any public sales before today. And I got it recognized at my very first public sale. I figured that I would probably get recognized more often than other picking YouTubers because, you know, the prosthetic leg kind of stands out. You know, you don't see a lot of those, the kind I have, big above knee, robot knee prosthetic legs. I don't see them very often, and I've got one, which means I am looking for them. So I know that I stand out, but yep, on my very first sale out, someone spotted me. They're like, "Are you 1 Foot Flipper?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." Talked to him for a minute, but I wasn't expecting that on day one. Speaking of annoying things about having 1 foot, is it's really hard to get the shoes on and off the fake foot, which matters because I normally just wear the same pairs of shoes every day until I wear them out or I'm tired of them, and then I get another pair. And today, later, is where I get called by my wife and she needs me to come go someplace. And my shoe is nowhere to be found. The dog probably stole it and brought it in the backyard or something. She normally doesn't do that to my shoes. She does that to my wife and daughter's shoes. So I have to put on my only other pair of shoes, my super bling bling Converse. Maybe I can throw a picture of them up there on the screen, that I don't like to get dirty and aren't that comfortable to walk around in because they're high tops. Actually, they're fine to walk around in. They're not comfortable to drive in. Hey, I actually got out of the house. I'm here at the collector store where I used to work at. It's Sunday. They're having a special event, so there's not 200 people here. Normally, like if I went here on Friday night, there'd be about 200 people here, and you wouldn't be able to hear anyone because, like I've mentioned before, I've got hearing issues because I only hear in one ear. So one thing everybody complains about is that January and February are very slow months on eBay. But I was looking at my spreadsheet today and I noticed something else. Including today's sales, I've only spent $300 and something sourcing this year so far. And I sold probably $12,000 already this year. So yes, the month might be slow. That's slow for me. Might be a slow month, but I spent almost nothing sourcing, so it probably, if I actually did my income month by month, it's probably going to be one of the best months of the year. It's summer that's actually really the bad income months for a lot of us yard sale pickers, because you've got the eBay summer slowdown combined with going out and getting new inventory every single weekend, hundreds of dollars out every weekend. Well, I've barely spent a thing, just one big buy and a couple of little things here and there that has not added up to much. So this is that actually balances out. One thing I've heard people complaining about the recent eBay fee increase. Now, my only complaint about it really is that since eBay works off a percentage base, there's no actual reason for them to ever have to increase the fees. Inflation doesn't mean anything when you're working off a sales percentage. So there's no reason to increase the fees. There's just not a reason to do it. But that 0.35% or 0.30%, that's going to be a rounding error for most of us. And honestly, a little bit of changes in what you're doing could easily overwhelm that. Like, are you running your shipping through a credit card with cash back? You're not? Why not? I run almost all my shipping through Pirate Ship, and I just use that PayPal MasterCard that they gave you there'll be a link in PayPal to sign up for that if you don't have one, and I get 2% cash back on that. And if I spend $1,000 a month on shipping, hey, I get 20 bucks back. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that $20 is going to be more than that increase in eBay fees is going to be. A lot more. And those credit card rewards, as far as I understand, not an accountant, but as far as I understand, those are tax-free money. It's one of the reasons why they came up with all those things and the very super fancy credit cards, is because the rich people wanted kind of a way to pay themselves more tax-free money. That's why your executives and everything get their super duper gold card, and they put all their business expenses on it, you know, $100,000, $200,000, maybe $1 million a year on it, and they'll get themselves 2% cash back on that, and they'll just get to keep it. But you don't have to be a millionaire to take advantage of that either. So that's one way that you can be sure and save enough money to make up for that tiny increase in eBay fees. Another way is if you're to use Pirate Ship. If you're not using Pirate Ship for shipping, then you're doing it wrong. Everything I go to ship, I go to Pirate Ship and I check the price and I decide whether or not it's going to go priority or UPS, because those are the two they do. And the prices on Pirate Ship, sometimes it's going to be the exact same as eBay, but sometimes you're going to get a cubic price that's going to go way lower than eBay. Especially if you're like me. I don't have the cheapest shipping on eBay. I use the calculated eBay shipping, not sharing the discount, with a $1 or maybe even a $2 handling fee. I do not want to be hit with any surprises on those large heavy items, and I'd rather just have to drop the prices on them a little bit, but never worry about shipping something out, losing money on it. So sometimes I end up with quite a bit of money left over after paying the shipping. So there's another thing for you to look at, is Pirate Ship. I've got viewer Chad here with me. He decided to meet up with me. We're going to enjoy a few White Castles here, and then we're going to play our game. Okay, we're eating White Castle here. This White Castle is not everywhere. They're tiny little hamburgers. You in the South have something very similar called Crystal. And I like to put an onion ring on top and chow right down. And speaking of Pirate Ship, are you cutting those priority boxes down when you when you ship things out? Well, you should be. Once I got used to cubic shipping discounts, I've just kind of gotten into a habit of cutting those priority boxes down to fit whatever, to make them smaller for whatever it is I'm shipping, because often that'll gets me into a better shipping price, to a better cubic price tier, which means money off the shipping cost. And money off the shipping cost is money in your pocket, because that's money you get to keep. But I'm going to intersperse a little bit of this in here because I used to work here. All right, Darian's giving us our packs. Okay, then we're each going to open these and build a magic deck out of them. Okay, in the end, we lost every round we played. These gentlemen, beautiful gentlemen here, poisoned us to death.
We won the second round.
Our second round, we did win by default by having no opponent, but that's how this turned out.
That was a good one.
What I'm doing right now is bringing my wife the Costco rewards certificate, because for some reason it wasn't in her purse, and she kept going and forgetting to bring it with her. But I'm going to hopefully find some thrift store or something out here as an excuse for this trip, so the whole trip won't be wasted. I don't like to go to Costco as much anymore. For some reason, I have a lot of trouble getting the little electric cart at Costco recently. Every time I go, every single one of them is in use. I'm not going to say that there's a lot of people using them who don't need to be using them, but there's definitely a lack of them. And now, while I can walk, you've seen me walk, I cannot walk a Costco trip at all. I could walk a loop through the store one time. I could not actually walk the shopping trip and then be able to be a functional human being afterwards. So I have to use that electric cart when I'm in big stores like that. Sometimes I've gotten to big stores like that and been unable to get an electric cart and just had to go home because I couldn't do the trip. See a sign there, weekends only, it's going out of business, now 7 days a week. Which is funny, because it seems like furniture stores are continually going out of business. They put up one near me recently that literally, they put up new signs with the going out of business from day one. Because the whole store is a pop-up, so it's gonna go, its whole plan was to go out of business. And they put big money into the signs of the store to make people not paying attention think it had been there forever. Hey, there's my wife. Hi, sweetheart. Let's do a few more sales, but before that, let's talk about a video or video series I was thinking about doing. Out in my driveway, kind of just rotting away, is a 1984 two-seater V8 Mercedes convertible. That was my dream car as a kid. I finally bought myself one when I was 30. I daily drove it for 10 years. Then I kind of used it part-time, but something broke on the brakes. It got pushed into the driveway fall of 2019. And then I lost my leg that winter, and I've never gone back to it. So at this point, it's been sitting for years. It's a car that's not worth fixing up, but the parts on it are a fortune. So I'm thinking, can I part this car out enough to buy another car? Or can I part this car out enough to buy the same car? Which I probably wouldn't do because I can't drive. I wouldn't be able to drive that car now, at least not without taking my leg off. I can't get my leg under the steering wheel of the thing. I already tried. So let me know what you think about that. Whether or not that'd be something to be interesting for you to watch. Be a little harder for me to do that than other people. Well, I can still work on cars. A lot of the things are really difficult for me. But the parts on that car are really expensive, so it could be worth it. Carole King Tapestry sold for $4.99. Nazareth, Snaz, and Savoy Brown Hellbound Train sold for a total of $13.48. Together sold another tray of tanks like you always see every episode. This one went for $68. This one is a good one. It's super heavy. I always have all of these in at a 3-pound rate for my shipping based on the heaviest ones, like this one, which indeed probably weighs more than 3 pounds. And usually when they're heavy, that means they're better. That means they're made out of resin and metal and not out of injection molded plastic. And sold this some sort of military vehicle. This went to a very repeat buyer who has a habit of buying something from me every couple of days. Always separate transactions, doesn't buy them together, and I almost never get to ship any of them together except maybe on a Monday morning when he might have bought multiple items over the weekend. But this time, I got him. He bought one last night, and then he bought that thing last night, and he bought this tray of tanks right before I started filming this. And he paid $52.54 for this tray of tanks, and I'll actually be able to ship those together, which will be a change. Now for my biggest sale of the video, at least by size. Oh my goodness, what is this? This is a big old jumbo Hooked on Phonics deluxe set from 1991. It appears to be complete. I got this at a garage sale for $3. They had 5 on it. I offered 3. They accepted. I put it up for $100 based on comps at the time because a lot of the comps were still COVID related. Homeschooling was bigger then. And it went through multiple markdowns and finally sold for $72.89. But this is educational material, and I can send this media mail. So this giant package says buyer paid $17.08 for shipping, which would have been based on my heavy media mail rule. So this is probably going to be my biggest media mail order that I ever send out, unless I send all my DVDs out to one of you guys or something. Anybody want all my DVDs? I got a lot of them. They're bad.